it's Dr. Evelyn at Eudaimonia Chiropractic, and I want to share about 3 muscles that you probably miss when you are working on your stretches or your myofascial release. These muscles have a few things in common that I think make them easily missed, but when they are treated and are moving freely and the fascia is flowing, can do so much for our range of motion and our distribution of forces and all of that stuff. So I am a chiropractor who uses fascia a lot to help my patients create new patterns. The way I see it, chiropractic helps our brain understand what's happening in our body and create immediate changes in command central, right? A chiropractic adjustment is going to change what the brain is saying to the body. Then the fascia comes in and needs to be conditioned once those new commands have been placed, right? So we can do a lot of work to support the type of commands that we want our body to do after the brain is on board. Then we're not fighting against the muscles or the system and by just pounding on our muscles, and the brain is still telling them to be in a certain pattern and we're just trying to fight against that, right? With chiropractic, we're able to get the brain on board, tell the muscles how we want them to be reacting and coordinating, and then we can go in and support the tissue to help our adjustments be more effective in the body. So I also look at every single adjustment with my patients through a holistic framework, a tensegrity matrix. This little logo of Eudaimonia Chiropractic is all about how the body is one tensegritous unit, that you can't move or distort one part of the body without moving and distorting the rest of the system. So for those 2 reasons, I use fascia a lot in my office, and it is a big part of what I do as a chiropractor. Now, these 3 muscles that I'm going to share with you are also the 3 areas that I think I spend the most time on with patients in my office. So I don't do a ton of muscle work or other modalities here at Eudaimonia Chiropractic. I'm pretty adjustment focused. And that is because of the reasons I previously mentioned. It's kind of like getting the brain on board is a really great first step. But I do recommend a lot of fascial release for my patients to work on when they are at home. And that's because it's something great that's very supplemental to what we're trying to achieve here at the office. But these 3 muscles are ones that I do in the office all the time because people are at home doing their myofascial release and they miss these guys. These little muscles go under the radar. So before I keep you on the edge of your seat any further, I'll tell you what they are, okay? Well, it's really 4 muscle areas, but we're grouping one together. All right, so the first one is our diaphragm, or our upper abdominal area, okay? This area can hold so much tension, and it's right at the center of the function of your core. It has everything to do with your posture. It has everything to do with how you're able to breathe, recover, regulate. So our diaphragm is huge in our upper abdominals. If our diaphragm's tight, our upper abdominals are usually tight as well. The next one is our subscapularis. So this is a muscle in our shoulder that's right under our armpit that can create a lot of dysfunction in the shoulder and even into the neck when we have limited range of motion and excessive tightness and tension stored there. And then the third muscle groups are the internal jaw muscles. So you might, if you're a human on earth and you're watching this video, you probably know that a lot of people suffer from jaw tension when it comes to their stress and their sleep or whatever it is. So these muscles get often missed because nobody thinks to check on the inside of their jaw for the muscles there. I think that these muscles are unique because they are all kind of interior muscles. So our diaphragm doesn't sit on the outside of our body. So it doesn't process sensation the same way as like our glutes or our feet or even our arms would, right? It's not uncommon to feel someone touch your arm and have that be a normal, sensation. But if we're getting touched in our diaphragm, like our body's kind of like, whoa, something weird is happening here. Why is another thing touching my diaphragm, right? It's not really meant to be touched. Our subscap is the same way and our anterior jaw muscles are the same way. So they just have a different type of sensitivity than you might be used to. And I think that's why they don't feel as outwardly tight or sore as some of our other muscles do. Another reason why I think these muscles go unnoticed a little bit, besides the fact that they're inside of our body, is that we don't move them the same way. These are muscles that usually are being moved in a lot of autonomic ways. So obviously your diaphragm is moving like all the time every time you take a breath, or it should be. But we don't usually like go, oh wow, like my diaphragm feels really tight today, while we're trying to like stretch and open up our diaphragm. Like we don't actively try to move it as much as some of our skeletal muscles. And then same with our jaws, right? We're talking, we're breathing, we're swallowing, we're chewing, we're doing a lot of things very autonomically, where we're not thinking about like, okay, time to stretch the jaws. Like, oh wow, it's tighter on that side. Like these are just motions that we do that don't really have to do with how we move around the world. The subscap is different, but it's also one of our more shoulder stabilizing muscles. It is part of our rotator cuff, but it is one of the big part of how our scapula or our shoulder blades glide along our rib cage. So it's doing a lot of work kind of behind the scenes, literally. And we don't tend to do exercises to specifically just activate our subscapularis. So it might go unnoticed. We might notice more tension on the front or the side of the shoulder that's trying to take the shoulder through a larger range of motion, whereas our subscap is doing kind of minor detail to the shoulder. Okay, so with that being said, let's get into how we release these guys, why they go unnoticed, and what do we do about it, okay? So the simplest thing to do with as far as our diaphragm and upper abdominals, the number one thing is to make absolute sure that you're not on your rib cage. So you want to be right under the rib cage. So here is where we really want to be doing the work on our diaphragm and upper abdominals, okay? When we start getting onto the rib cage, we can create some trauma to the rib cage, and that can become very uncomfortable. If anybody's ever had a rib get out of place or start to paradoxically move, that is just not a fun scenario. As always with our fascial release, we're coming in with the best of intentions, the most nourishing and supportive and loving hands that we can. And we are finding the right angle right under the rib cage, and we're just gently circling like so, and finding areas of tension. You can use a ball or something to like roll along the upper abdominals. You can take a deep breath in, bend over, we all need this, I can guarantee, especially if you're somebody who is rounded forward in this posture. I guarantee that you've got adhesions and stuck fascia in your diaphragm and your upper abdominals. Okay, so secondly, we're going up to our subscap. So I will just show you. Our subscapularis is behind our shoulder blade. So it can only really be accessed from the front of the arm. I mean, you can dig under here and get it, but this is how we do it. take your hand, push it up. This one is up here. And we're gonna be pushing straight back, right into the kind of middle of the armpit. And that's where we're gonna find our subscap, okay? And you pin and stretch. It's important here too that we're not getting right in, oof. Okay, I'm kind of pushing out a little bit and back. I'm on it and it feels so good. After a day of work, it's nice. The important things to note here is that you're not pushing into your rib cage. Again, you're not pushing up into the armpit where you're gonna hit the head of your humerus. You wanna be pushing out and back, right? Out and back, out and back. If this is too hard of a range of motion for you because you have a larger chest or you have a limited range of motion in this shoulder, you can use a Theracane or a dowel of some kind. And I'll usually take some sort of cloth or something to make it a little softer, and I'll put it here, and I'll just use this to come back here, and that makes it a little easier for me to get into that range of motion. So you can even like support the dowel on the ground or onto the couch or onto a bench or whatever it is, just to get that angle. But you'll find that spot and then you'll just pin and stretch, okay? Third set of muscles that I was going to tell you about are the internal pterygoids. So you know that you can access the muscles of your jaw on the outside with gua sha, with gentle massage, with, you know, stretching, with rubbing here on your masseters. But where the heck are the muscles on the inside of your jaws, okay? So let's pretend for a second that this is my mouth, okay? These are my upper teeth, these are my lower teeth, and this is them put together, okay? So what we wanna do is we wanna actually go back in. I would use my opposite finger on my opposite side, if this was me doing this. And we wanna find the point right where our teeth come together. So we're on the inside of the cheek, but we're right here. So on the inside of the cheek, but on the outside of the teeth. We come all the way back to where we don't feel any more molars or any more teeth. And then we kind of come right in between the two sets of teeth. And that is where our external pterygoid is, okay? We can either just kind of roll our finger along this tender place, or we can pin and stretch by opening the jaw. I usually do a little bit of both, but it looks like this. You take your opposite finger, you're on the inside of the cheek, all the way to the back, and you're pushing against the inside of the wall of your jaw. Make sure you also go to the upper deck of teeth because the muscle extends all the way from the top to the bottom. Okay, so if we're pretending my finger is on the inside of my mouth, I'm going like this, right here on that muscle. Okay, start with that one. If you feel so inclined, there are muscles all over. Make sure you do it on both sides. But just notice how much more easy it feels to move your jaw around, how much less tension there is in your head or in your neck if your jaw is something that contributes to those symptoms for you. These are the things that I help patients become aware of. Everybody that I do this work to is like, oh my gosh, whoa, I had no idea I was so tight there. And so I just thought I'd make a video to share with all of you. I wanna know in the comments how you guys found this. Did you know about these kind of silent, sneaky muscles? Did you try these releases? What things did you notice changed? Notice that they felt a little bit differently? Are you becoming more aware of them now? So please let me know. I love hearing and reading and responding to your comments. And also, if you think that you want to reach out, if you live in the San Francisco Bay Area, or want to work with me virtually, I have a lot of ways that I work with people. So feel free to check out my website, subscribe to my newsletter, subscribe to this channel. And also, if you have ideas of things that you would like to hear my take on or learn more about, let me know. All right, see you soon. Bye.